We all know Steve Harvey as America's ultimate family man. Between his hilarious reactions on Family Feud and his best-selling relationship advice, he has built a multi-million-dollar empire on being the wise, relatable father figure we all wish we had. But what if the smiling mentor we see under the studio lights is completely different behind closed doors? Away from the cameras, a much darker reality has allegedly been brewing. In a series of shocking revelations, Steve's own son has stepped out of his father's massive shadow to expose what he calls an awful and toxic childhood. For years, fans bought into the narrative of a perfect household, but this explosive first-hand account paints a heartbreaking picture of life behind the scenes when the television cameras stopped rolling. From flunking out to billionaire, the real Steve Harvey story. Before the flashing lights of Hollywood and the multi-million-dollar contracts, Steve Harvey was just a kid with a severe stutter growing up in the gritty coal mining towns of West Virginia. Born in 1957, young Steve harbored massive dreams that seemed completely out of reach for a working-class boy. In the 6th grade, he boldly wrote down that he would one day be on television. His teacher completely shot him down, calling him a smart aleck. But in a legendary move of ultimate revenge, once Steve actually made it big, he sent that same teacher a brand new television every single year for Christmas, just a reminder of how wrong she was. His family eventually moved to Cleveland, Ohio, settling on a street that would decades later be renamed Steve Harvey Way in his honor. Yet, despite the hometown glory, Steve's path to the top was a total mess. After graduating high school in 1974, he headed off to Kent State University. The academic life just didn't stick, and Steve flunked out after just 2 years. He confesses this massive failure threw his entire life into a devastating downward spiral. Without a degree, he was forced to scramble, bouncing from one grueling job to the next just to survive. He tried his hand at boxing, worked on an automotive assembly line, sold insurance, cleaned carpets, and even carried mail as a postman. It wasn't until October of 1985 that he finally found his true calling, stepping onto a comedy club stage in Cleveland for the very first time. But finding his passion didn't mean instant wealth. In fact, the darkest period of his life was just beginning. For 3 brutal years in the late 1980s, the future superstar was completely homeless. When comedy gigs didn't provide a hotel room, Steve was forced to sleep in the back of his car. He kept up appearances by secretly showering at random gas stations and public swimming pools. He was utterly broke and desperate until a couple named Rich and Becky Liss threw him a crucial lifeline, giving him steady carpet cleaning work and travel credit so he could actually get to his comedy shows. This turbulent journey from the absolute bottom to the peak of Hollywood success is exactly what makes the current family drama so incredibly jarring. Today, Steve Harvey is known as America's ultimate relationship and family guide. He is a billionaire mogul who hands out tough love advice on Family Feud. But devastating allegations from his own son hit differently, forcing us to ask whether the hardships that forged Steve Harvey into a superstar also turned him into a harsh, volatile patriarch behind closed doors. It leaves everyone wondering if the ultimate family man might just be playing his greatest character yet, the Kings of Comedy formula that made Steve Harvey a mogul. Steve Harvey's legendary rise from a homeless comedian sleeping in his car to a multi-million-dollar media mogul is the stuff of Hollywood folklore. After years of scraping by, his big break finally came on April 16, 1990, when he made it as a finalist in the 2nd annual Johnny Walker National Comedy Search. This massive moment caught the right eyes and landed him a highly coveted long-term gig hosting It's Showtime at the Apollo, taking over the reins from Mark Curry. That iconic stage proved to be the ultimate launching pad for his television career, leading directly to a starring role in the 1994 ABC sitcom Me and the Boys. Though that show didn't last long, network executives knew he had star power, and by 1996 he was headlining The Steve Harvey Show on the WB. Running until 2002, the sitcom became an absolute staple in black households across the nation, cementing Steve as a beloved household name, even if mainstream critics routinely ignored it. While dominating television, Steve never forgot his stand-up roots. In 1997, he teamed up with comedy titans Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hewley, and Bernie Mac for the monumental Kings of Comedy tour. It shattered records to become the highest-grossing comedy tour in history, pulling in a staggering $18 million in its first year and $19 million in its second. The tour's explosive energy caught the attention of legendary filmmaker Spike Lee, who captured the magic in the hit concert film The Original Kings of Comedy. Steve rode this massive wave of success right into his own variety program, Steve Harvey's Big Time Challenge, which kept audiences laughing on the WB until 2005. At the exact same time, he was quietly conquering the airwaves, launching the Steve Harvey Morning Show in 2000. Originally broadcast through Radio 1, the weekday radio program eventually expanded into nationwide syndication, becoming a permanent morning fixture for millions of loyal listeners. By the early 2000s, Hollywood came knocking with big-screen opportunities. Steve shared the spotlight with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Beyonce Knowles in the 2003 musical comedy The Fighting Temptations, and quickly followed it up with a memorable role in Love Don't Cost a Thing. He kept the momentum going in 2004 with appearances in Johnson Family Vacation and the dance hit You Got Served, before showcasing his vocal talents as the voice of Buzz the Fly in the 2005 family movie Racing Stripes. Ever the chameleon, Steve pivoted to a cleaner image in 2006 with his stand-up special, Steve Harvey, Don't Trip, He Ain't Through With Me Yet, which was filmed at MegaFest and notably featured zero profanity. He also leaned heavily into mentorship, hosting the Disney Dreamers Academy at Walt Disney World starting in 2008 to help teens unlock their full potential. But the true cultural phenomenon happened in 2009 when Steve published his relationship guide, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. The book was an absolute juggernaut, spending 64 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list, with 23 of those weeks sitting proudly at number 1. It completely transformed him into America's premier relationship guru, and even inspired the star-studded 2012 romantic comedy film Think Like a Man. Fresh off that literary victory, Steve landed the job that would define the next chapter of his life, hosting Family Feud in September 2010. Under his watch, the show's ratings skyrocketed to unprecedented heights, earning him the longest tenure of any host in the game show's history and leading to a summer spin-off, Celebrity Family Feud. With his television empire secure, Steve officially walked away from stand-up comedy on August 2, 2012, delivering his final emotional performance at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, which aired live on pay-per-view. He immediately transitioned into daytime television with his own syndicated talk show, Steve, which eventually earned him historic double daytime Emmy nominations for both Outstanding Talk Show and Game Show Host, alongside a coveted star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He even ventured into tech, launching the dating website Delightful to give singles his signature relationship advice online. Yet, as his star grew brighter, his live television career hit a legendary gaffe in December 2015 while hosting the Miss Universe pageant. In a jaw-dropping live blunder, Steve accidentally announced Miss Columbia as the winner when she was actually the first runner-up. Minutes after the wrong crown was placed, a visibly sweating Steve had to walk back on stage, fix the error, and crown the actual winner, Miss Philippines. Despite the global embarrassment, the Miss Universe organization kept inviting him back to host year after year because the drama generated massive ratings. His massive success, however, hasn't come without serious public backlash and controversy. In 2011, he sparked outrage by calling critics of President Obama Uncle Toms on his radio show. Years later, in 2017, he faced fierce condemnation from the Asian American community after making insensitive jokes on his talk show about the idea of women dating Asian men, a mistake he later apologized for online. That same year, he landed in hot water with the residents of Flint, Michigan, when he made a tone-deaf joke to a trash-talking sports caller, telling them to go drink a glass of brown water, directly referencing the city's tragic water crisis. Through it all, Steve's business mindset remained unstoppable. In 2017, he consolidated his massive empire under Steve Harvey Global, which managed everything from his production company to the international rights for Family Feud. He launched a yearly music festival, an events company run by his family, and hosted Fox's most-watched New Year's Eve special from Times Square, where he even got ordained to marry a celebrity couple live on air. He went on to host the prestigious NFL Honors multiple times, launched a digital learning hub called Vault, and expanded his television dominance with the 2022 ABC comedy court show Judge Steve Harvey. He even took his message of faith and happiness to the global stage, speaking at Expo 2020 in Dubai. Most recently, in March 2024, Steve announced a major partnership with his longtime friend Phil McGraw to join the upcoming multi-platform outlet, Merit Street Media. While this relentless drive has built an unassailable media empire, the sheer magnitude of his public achievements makes the recent, deeply personal accusations from his son feel like an entirely different world, leaving fans to wonder what truly happens when the cameras finally turn off. The hidden divorce war that almost ruined Steve Harvey. The fairy tale image of Steve Harvey's multi-million-dollar empire has a hidden timeline built on broken hearts, intense court battles, and a deeply bitter second ex-wife who refuses to stay silent. Long before Steve was providing lifestyle advice alongside his current wife Marjorie, his personal life was a total disaster zone. While his career was finally taking off on the Showtime at the Apollo stage in the early 1990s, his first marriage to Marcia Harvey, the mother of his twin daughters, Brandy and Carly, and his son Broderick, was completely falling apart. Desperate to escape the crushing loneliness of his newfound fame, Steve quickly rushed into a second marriage with Mary Shackelford in 1996, a move he later openly admitted was a massive mistake made for all the wrong reasons. Though they welcomed a son named Winton in 1997, the couple was secretly miserable for a decade, operating in a toxic environment until their explosive, incredibly messy divorce in 2005. That nasty split triggered a vicious public smear campaign from Mary that has cast a long, dark shadow over Steve's carefully curated image as a wholesome family mentor. Mary went on a nuclear publicity tour, releasing a series of gut-wrenching videos directly accusing Steve of rampant infidelity. According to Mary, she began uncovering cold, hard evidence of Steve's cheating as early as their second wedding anniversary, explicitly naming Marjorie Bridges as the mistress who single-handedly destroyed her household. Mary painted a heartbreaking picture of her post-divorce life, claiming Steve completely stripped her of her dignity, evicted her from her home, used his high-powered legal team to legally turn their son against her, and totally stole her wealth. Overnight, the luxurious lifestyle she enjoyed disappeared. The high-end fashion designers who once begged her to wear their clothes stopped returning her calls. Her elite A-list friends completely abandoned her at brunch, and she was left entirely isolated. However, the legal reality in the courtroom told a completely different story from Mary's emotional public pleas. While Mary tried to wage an all-out war, she was severely outmatched by Steve's elite lawyers, who used her volatile behavior as perfect ammunition to prove she was an unfit mother, ultimately winning Steve sole custody of young Winton. Court documents later exposed that Mary was far from broke. She was actually awarded 3 of Steve's luxury homes and a massive $40,000 per month in alimony until 2009, followed by a final cash payout of $1.9 million. Despite the millions, Mary's life continued to spiral into chaos, resulting in her being arrested for violating a child support order she claimed she knew nothing about. With a strict judicial gag order placed on her and zero contact with her son Winton, Mary was left desperately hoping for a simple phone call and public acknowledgement from the people who had firmly erased her from their lives. Meanwhile, Steve's spectacular rebound with Marjorie was orchestrating the ultimate narrative of family redemption. Steve actually owes his entire current marriage to his longtime bodyguard, who saw how deeply miserable the comedian was and literally took matters into his own hands. The bodyguard called up Marjorie, whom Steve had briefly dated and lost contact with during his early years of struggle, and warned Steve to fix his life before he married the wrong person again. When they reconnected in 2005, the chemistry was completely effortless, with Marjorie even joking that if Steve had just been honest about his early financial struggles, her own house could have saved him from his legendary 3 years of homelessness. They officially tied the knot in 2007, blending a massive family of 7 children, including Steve's kids, Mary's son Winton, and Marjorie's 3 children from a previous relationship, including Hollywood's IT girl, model Lori Harvey. This dramatic second chance at love completely turbocharged Steve's career, transforming him into an unstoppable media juggernaut. He went on a spectacular winning streak, turning his best-selling relationship book into a blockbuster movie franchise, securing a permanent spot as the king of Family Feud and launching the hit variety show Little Big Shots. Together, Steve and Marjorie became a glamorous power couple, funding charitable youth foundations while Marjorie earned the title Queen of Slaycations by flaunting their ultra-luxury lifestyle on yachts in the Mediterranean, vacations in Italy, and emotional pilgrimages to Ghana. By 2022, Steve was publicly penning emotional anniversary letters credited to Marjorie for saving his soul and building his empire. Yet, no matter how many diamond rings he hides in fancy vacation desserts or how bright his legacy shines, the loud echoes of his chaotic past and the lingering pain of his ex-wife prove that the road to his perfect life was paved with incredible collateral damage. Inside the $200,000 private jet lawsuit Steve Harvey faced, the longtime entertainer has touched every corner of show business. From his early days in stand-up comedy to his nationwide radio show and his latest venture as a television judge, his career has successfully spanned more than 3 decades. During this impressive run, Harvey has managed to overcome severe obstacles, including steep professional bumps and a highly publicized second divorce that nearly left him completely penniless. Still, he has come a long way from his original comedy career that began back in the 1980s. Harvey eventually found his true professional footing in the world of television hosting, and today he is best known for his record-breaking tenure on the game show Family Feud. Viewers also widely recognize him as the longtime face of the Miss Universe pageant, the head honcho of the Steve Harvey Morning Show, and the author of the massive best-selling book Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. However, the beloved host has left several highly problematic situations following in his wake. From defending a publicly defamed actor to a consistent history of domestic infidelity, Harvey's complicated personal past has simply been outshined by his pristine public image. As a veteran in the comedy industry, it is no surprise that Steve Harvey and Bill Cosby crossed paths during their respective careers. Harvey has frequently cited the Cosby Show star as his longtime professional mentor. However, Cosby fell into hot water after being charged and later convicted on several accounts of sexual assault in 2018. From 2014 onwards, more than 50 different women came forward to accuse the legendary actor of drugging, rape, and varied sexual misconduct over the course of his decades-long career. Cosby served 2 years of his 10-year prison sentence before the Pennsylvania Supreme Court made the major decision to overturn his conviction in 2021. In 2017, Harvey publicly revealed that he would continue to stand firmly by his fellow comedian despite the overwhelming backlash. He explained that when he is someone's friend, he stays their friend, noting that he called Cosby to check on him when the legal trouble started. According to Harvey, Cosby appreciated the call, but told him to stay away to protect his own career from the public fallout, a gesture Harvey described as an amazing thing to do. Other stars from The Cosby Show, including Felicia Rashad and Keisha Knight Pulliam, have also stood firm in their public support for the man once known as America's dad. Even though Cosby was released from prison in 2021, more women have come forward as recently as June 2023 to file new civil lawsuits against him for similar past crimes. Harvey's relationship history shows a clear pattern of overlap and financial tension. He married his first wife, Marcia Harvey, in 1980, just as his comedy career began to blossom. This sudden career focus reportedly caused severe tension in their marriage, leading the couple to separate in 1990 before officially divorcing in 1994 after 14 years and 3 children together. Notably, their official separation occurred the year before their 3rd child was even born. In addition to facing legal issues over unpaid child support for Marcia and their kids, reports surfaced that Harvey began living with his future second wife, Mary Shackelford, before that first divorce was even legally settled. He and Mary tied the knot in 1996, welcomed 1 son, and ultimately divorced in 2005. Since their split, Shackelford has consistently alleged that Harvey stepped out on her with his current wife Marjorie, repeating the pattern of infidelity. Beyond his relationship drama, Harvey has faced serious financial disputes regarding his ultra-luxury lifestyle. In 2015, reports surfaced that Steve Harvey had been sued by an aircraft company for $205,040 in unpaid alterations. The company, Business Aircraft Leasing Inc., stated that Harvey originally intended to lease out a private Gulfstream jet, but requested $400,000 worth of custom upgrades before taking possession. These custom alterations included removing 2 existing seats and completely redecorating the plane's interior to fit his tastes. When it came time to settle the bill, Harvey fell short by refusing to finish paying off the aircraft alterations after making only half of the expected payments. The company argued that Harvey had verbally promised to lease out the jet for $97,000 a month once the alterations were completed. The legal case was brought against Harvey and One World Aviation, one of the many corporate businesses he owns. The jet company eventually dropped its lawsuit against Harvey a year later, opting instead to finalize a confidential business agreement with One World Aviation. Since resolving that dispute, Harvey has shared numerous photos enjoying the absolute comfort of his private jet. The luxury aircraft has served as the perfect backdrop for his and his wife Marjorie's high-fashion internet videos, where they routinely show off coordinated designer outfits before taking off, keeping the public focused entirely on their wealth and style. Inside the real broken timeline of the Harvey blended family, Steve Harvey frequently asserts that family is his ultimate motivation, openly stating that he works relentlessly to leave a legacy and make the world a better place for his children. Yet, the intricate reality of his massive blended family reveals a timeline deeply marked by personal sacrifice, long periods of estrangement, and the complicated process of fusing different households together. Steve first became a father in August 1982 when he and his first wife, Marcia Harvey, welcomed twin daughters, Carly and Brandy. At the time, Steve was working as a regular insurance salesman, but after winning a simple $50 first-place prize at a local stand-up comedy competition, he made the drastic decision to abruptly quit his stable job to pursue a full-time entertainment career. Decades later, Steve recalled the intense pressure of that life-changing choice, noting the inherent guilt of abandoning a stable income when he had a wife and newborn twins to provide for. While his high-stakes gamble eventually paid off in the entertainment industry, it took a devastating toll on his domestic life. His marriage to Marcia dissolved into a bitter divorce in 1994, and his relationship with his twin daughters became severely strained as he chased national fame. Years later, his daughters provided some emotional closure, telling him they finally understood he didn't just belong to them, but to the world. The family eventually reconciled, and in 2015, Steve tearfully walked Carly down the aisle when she married Ben Raymond, openly warning his new son-in-law on his daytime talk show to take proper care of his daughter. Carly gave birth to a son, Benjamin Troy Raymond II, the following year, making sure to place a copy of Steve's motivational book, Act Like a Success, in the nursery. Meanwhile, twin sister Brandy built her own career as an author, podcast host, fitness influencer, and competitive bodybuilder, while simultaneously serving as the executive director of her father's charitable organization, the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation. The fractures caused by Steve's early career pursuits also deeply impacted his oldest son, Broderick Harvey Jr., who was born in April 1991 in Cleveland. Following his parents' 1994 divorce, Broderick remained in Ohio with his mother and older sisters, completely separated from his father's escalating Hollywood lifestyle. Appearing on Steve's talk show in May 2019, Broderick openly confessed that he did not have his father full-time in his life until he reached the age of 16, prompting an emotional response from Steve, who admitted he has spent his entire adult life trying to actively make up for the massive mistakes he made as a young man. Broderick eventually followed in his father's entrepreneurial footsteps, launching a shoe company called Steps by Stevens in 2015, which incorporated philanthropy by donating 3 meals to a hungry child for every single pair of shoes sold. Steve's second attempt at family life brought a whole new wave of public drama. He welcomed his second son, Wynton Harvey, in July 1997 with his second wife, Mary Shackelford. That marriage lasted 9 years before ending in an incredibly volatile 2005 divorce. Reflecting on the split, Steve pinned the blame entirely on his own impatience, admitting he got married for the wrong reasons simply because he was tired of being alone. Following the separation, Mary launched a highly publicized campaign against Steve, releasing viral YouTube videos in 2011 claiming he cheated on her and wrongfully took their son away. Steve swiftly countered the narrative, clarifying that a judge had legally awarded him primary custody when Winton was 13 and that their son chose to live with him completely willingly. Today, Winton stays clear of the family legal drama, working out of Atlanta as a professional photographer. The family dynamic shifted dramatically in 2007 when Steve married his third wife, Marjorie Bridges, and legally adopted her 3 children from a previous relationship, Morgan, Jason, and Lori. Marjorie openly addressed the steep challenges of merging their lives, stating that everyone enters a blended family from a place of brokenness, but noting that she and Steve were determined to make every child feel equally loved. Marjorie's oldest daughter, Morgan, who was born when Marjorie was just 19, officially took the Harvey surname after the adoption. Morgan eventually married Kareem Hawthorne in 2013, giving Steve 2 granddaughters, Elle Monroe and Marley Jean, while establishing herself professionally as a chef, cookbook author, and food blogger. Marjorie's son, Jason Harvey, born in August 1991, was also legally adopted by Steve after the 2007 wedding. Jason quickly established a massive family of his own, marrying model Amanda Hill in August 2013 and welcoming 4 children over the next 7 years: Rose, Noah Ellington, Ezra Nehemiah, and Joey Iris. Aside from raising a large family, Jason emerged as a fashion designer and founder of the Atlanta-based luxury label Worldly. His brand explicitly focuses on bridging the gap between diversity, spirituality, and empowerment, aiming to provide a structured support system for minority designers who lack the necessary corporate resources to scale their businesses to a global level. Without question, the most famous child in the Harvey household is stepdaughter Lori Harvey, born in January 1997 and legally adopted by Steve. Lori launched a highly successful modeling career in 2015, walking for premier global luxury brands like Dolce & Gabbana, Burberry, and Michael Kors, before successfully pivoting into entrepreneurship with the launch of her own skincare line, SKN, in 2021. However, her fast-paced romantic life has consistently dominated mainstream media headlines. Lori was previously engaged to Dutch professional soccer player Memphis Depay in 2017 and was later romantically linked to high-profile entertainment figures like Sean Diddy Combs and the rapper Future. Her most prominent relationship was a high-profile romance with Hollywood A-lister Michael B. Jordan, whom she dated from November 2020 until their abrupt split in June 2022 due to Lori's intense focus on her career and lack of readiness to fully commit. Throughout the intense public fallout of the breakup, Steve remained fiercely protective, publicly declaring himself 1000% Team Lori on his radio show. Steve later lamented the immense difficulties of his daughter growing up as a prominent public figure, noting that unlike normal young adults who get to make their life mistakes in the dark cloak of their own homes, Lori's personal missteps are immediately broadcasted to the entire world. Lori quickly moved on, confirming a relationship with British actor Damson Idris in January 2023, making high-profile appearances at red carpet events and global concerts. Ultimately, while Steve Harvey proudly boasts of his role as the ultimate protector of this massive, blended empire, the constant tension between his public declarations of fatherly success and the real-world histories of his children proves that maintaining the appearance of a perfect family legacy requires constant damage control. The 2013 police report that almost ended Steve Harvey's career, the carefully polished image of America's Ultimate Family Guide, faced its most devastating challenge when terrifying details emerged about what allegedly happened to his 11-year-old son behind closed doors. In 2013, a shocking police report surfaced containing first-hand accounts from Steve Harvey's son that completely shattered the wholesome narrative built around the multi-million-dollar media mogul. According to official documents obtained by TMZ, the young boy detailed a childhood experience that was far from a fairy tale, exposing a deeply troubling incident of extreme discipline that triggered an immediate investigation by state authorities. The entire crisis reportedly exploded over a simple missing homework assignment. According to the police report, Steve received a direct phone call from his son's school informing him that the boy had lied about turning in his schoolwork. What allegedly followed was a physical confrontation so severe that the child detailed it explicitly to local law enforcement. The boy told officers that his father brutally beat him using both a traditional leather belt and a wooden paddle. The heavy, solid wood paddles historically associated with intense college fraternity hazing rituals. When police intervened, the physical evidence of the child's ordeal was formally documented. Investigators took a series of graphic photographs of the 11-year-old's injuries, which clearly displayed deep visible bruising scattered across his buttocks and right thigh, along with painful cuts down his leg. Perhaps the most heartbreaking detail in the entire police account came from the boy's own testimony, as he told officers that the beating was so physically brutal that he suffered from severe pain and difficulty urinating for several days afterward. Because of the severity of the visible injuries and the child's explicit statement, local police immediately referred the entire matter to the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services for a full-scale evaluation. The state intervention threatened to completely derail Steve's highly lucrative corporate brand. However, Harvey's high-powered representatives quickly went into damage control mode, releasing an official statement confirming that state officials had thoroughly reviewed the situation and concluded that, based on the available evidence, the child did not appear to be in immediate danger, allowing the state to close the file without pursuing further investigation or criminal charges. While Steve was legally cleared in the eyes of the state, his second ex-wife, Mary Harvey, refused to let the matter drop, publicly claiming that the entire investigation was a massive celebrity cover-up designed to protect Steve's career. Mary embarked on a relentless multi-year campaign to expose the alleged abuse, leaking sealed court documents and medical details to mainstream media outlets in defiance of the law. The ongoing crusade ultimately backfired when a judge decided she had finally gone too far, finding Mary in direct contempt of court for violating a strict protective order and sentencing her to 30 days in jail. Yet, despite the legal victories and the closed case files, the disturbing images and the harrowing words of Steve's own son remain a permanent stain on his legacy, serving as a chilling reminder of the dark, painful realities that can hide behind the bright studio lights of Hollywood perfection. What are your thoughts on Steve Harvey? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.